All right, so this is going to be the last week, week 12, which is going to be chronic disease. So essentially we have this hypothesis, which is the Barker-Thrifty hypothesis. And all it's saying is that when the fetus in the mother is exposed to poor nutrition, their body is more likely to hold on to fat and save nutrients. And that's the body of the fetus. So let's say there was a historical example of World War II. Mothers who gave birth to children in World War II, later on in life, those children were more likely to hold on fat and save nutrients. And this is a good advantage if the environment continues to be poor. However, let's say with the modernization of access to food readily through fast food, through grocery stores, essentially people can have more access to food, but they're also more likely to hold on to that food. And that can lead to things such as obesity, which can further decrease our health outcomes. So that's the Barker-Thrifty hypothesis, and it's programmed in utero. Essentially, the fetus is just trying to predict like what the environment is going to be. So oxytocin is our hug hormone. If you give anyone a hug, you're going to release oxytocin. This is going to act on the HPA axis, so less cortisol is released. I'm not sure about that, but I think it's less cortisol. And social supports are going to stimulate oxytocin. It's just a fact. I don't really understand where it connects into the week, but I do remember that it was something important that came up. We have another integration of all the weeks. We have HEADS, health belief model, and transtheoretical model to essentially assess our patient health. And we also have the H&A systemic process. So this is just to allow a community to recognize their health issues. You're going to start off with an overarching goal. So let's say, or problem, which is going to be overweight or obese kids, for example. You're going to have primary risk factors, secondary risk factors, and contributing factors. It can get confusing between the primary and secondary risk factors. I just like to think of it as a secondary risk factor being something that's more detailed of the primary risk factor. So for example, a primary risk factor could be poor balanced diet, and a secondary risk factor would be that students eat high calorie snacks. It's kind of the same thing. So I like to think of the secondary risk factors as just a more detailed version of the primary risk factors. And then the contributing factors is what is directly contributing to the high calorie snacks. So maybe you have vending machines, maybe you have corner stores, maybe junk food is cheaper because the average financial status of the students is lower, or the school just doesn't have the proper funding or supervision. And I guess this also connects to another thing, which could be not having enough PE equipment. This could be contributing to lack of physical exercise, and then later could be contributing to obesity or overweight.